Okay, I've been wanting to make this video for a while. Today I'm going to share some tips, hints and tricks on how you can get from here to here on a flight that will cost you less than a flight to some Spanish holiday destinations this summer. Yes, Florida for cheaper than Spain. You're not going to think it's possible, but I will show you the comparisons. We'll try to keep the dates as similar as possible. And for the purposes of the comparison, I'm going to look at Tenerife, but the same applies really if you look at any of the available flights in and out of Canary Islands, Balearic Islands, and even some of the mainland Spanish destinations as well. The other reason I want to do this video is, people keep slagging me off because they say, oh, you're never out of America, you must be loaded. And I'm like, no, I just will not conform to, oh, it's the summertime, we live in the UK or Ireland, we must go and pay a fortune for bog average accommodations and extortionate flights to Spain, which I do not think is worth it. So I always advise people, and what I'm going to show you today, shop around, be flexible on your dates, compare a wee bit, and you can actually get to this location, yes, Florida, for cheaper on a flight than some places in Spain. Now, as I said, you do need to be prepared to be flexible on your flight. For the purposes of this, I'm going to stick with dates towards when the kids start to get off school, sort of late June into early July. That's when the airlines, the travel companies start to really hike up the prices. And all the information I'm going to show you is correct as of the recording of this video. Let's take a look. Right, we'll start with jet2.com. Let's look at flying out of Belfast International Airport into Tenerife. We're going to select 18th of June. Let's look at coming back on the 2nd of July. So that's 2 weeks exactly, one adult. We're not adding on any luggage at all or selecting any seats for the purposes of this comparison. Okay, 190 quid out, 200 quid back in. That gives us a grand total on Jet2 to Tenerife, £390. Okay, 390 in total, Belfast to Tenerife. EasyJet next. Let's look at the dates. Right, there's nothing out on the 18th. 19th is far too dear, so we'll go for the 20th. That's a bit cheaper. Okay, and we'll come back then on the 2nd, as we did with the last one. So just under 2 weeks, 13 nights. EasyJet Belfast to Tenerife, 176 out, 178 back in. No bags again, no seat selection, just keeping it to the basic minimum fare for the purposes of this comparison. 355 quid, just under 356 quid. So again, a bit less, but more than you're going to pay to go to Florida. For this, you're going to head along to skyscanner.net. You're going to search for an airport called Melbourne Orlando International in Florida. It's not in Australia. It's about an hour away from Orlando. Smaller airport. They do chartered flights from some UK destinations on TUI over the summer. Belfast is one of them this year. We're looking at June and July. Let's have a look for some of the dates it's going to be flying and operating then. The cheapest one we can see there is the 18th. Let's look at that. We're going to come back in then on the 2nd. That gives us 2 weeks in the Sunshine State for a total of £330. And that is how you're going to fly to Florida for cheaper this summer than Spain. Just a couple of final things to add to that. Obviously, no seats and bags were added. There's not a lot in it actually when you do check out the comparisons between TUI flying to America and the European carriers heading out to Canary Islands. The big elephant in the room isn't necessarily just me, although that could also be argued. It's the mouse in the room. It's the mouse trap that I fall into time and time again. Of course, when you go to Orlando, particularly with kids, Disney World and the lure of Disney World, that will significantly drive up the price dramatically of anybody's holiday. You do need to consider that. Can you go out there and enjoy a really good beach break in Florida? World-class beaches, great hotels with brilliant amenities, well on a par, if not more superior than anything I've ever been to in Spain. For goodness sake, the hotel I was in Lanzarote last summer didn't even have air conditioning, and it was a relatively new resort too. So yes, you can do that if you can tell the kids that you're going to Florida, but you're miles away from Mickey Mouse and they don't know that he's necessarily just an hour down the road. Then you should absolutely do that. I'd highly recommend a beach break or hotel pool break in Florida, particularly if now you know you can get a flight out there from Belfast cheaper than a flight to Tenerife this summer. I would tell you to book it and thank me later.